Our industry go back 20 or 30 years ago, it really was a man's world. It was an organisation where the mindset was that men work in the field, men are the managers, men are the leaders. These days that's not true. I can't think of any job in the extractive industries that a woman couldn't do just as well as a man, if not better. People tend to sponsor people who are like themselves, tend to have unconscious bias and sometimes conscious bias in there that actually influences the decisions they make. So our aim is to say, how do you create an environment which really does create a level playing field? I think visible commitment from your leadership across any company is probably the key characteristic that's needed. If you can create an environment where people feel they can bring their whole selves to work, we know we'll get more out of them. The research underpins that, but actually in practical sense what it says is the working environment is more respectful, it's more constructive, and people work better together. And actually we do see that having a diverse team gives you better ideas, better initiatives, better thoughts. So you say, well, so what's the benefit of diversity and inclusion? It's actually the diversity of thought that matters. In the UK engineering profession overall, it's still less than 9% women. So there is a huge challenge both to attract women into engineering and into STEM areas, but also how do you retain them? So there's a lot of work at the moment going on, and we in this international forum here with Chatham House, a lot of the conversation is about STEM. How do we attract more women, young women, to come into the industry, into the extractive industries generally, into energy, but actually then how do you retain them? So over the last 3 or 4 years, I think there has been a real change, and that change has been around the recognition of the value of diversity. I mean, McKinsey did some very good research on it. Others have followed with similar work, and it says that there is a business benefit to having a diverse workforce. There's even more of a business benefit to having an inclusive workforce. So the business case for doing D&I is very compelling, but there's also a social and moral case. We just have to look at the newspapers on any day and you'll see the strong case for gender equality. We're seeing it for gender, we're seeing it for ethnicity, we're seeing it for LGBT. So the general key is, if you can get inclusion right, most of your D&I and ambition will follow.